right. You should be good.
Excellent. Thanks. Talk to you later, Arthur. Okay, hello everybody. Would you mind joining us with video? Unless you absolutely can't. It definitely enhances the experience when we can see each other. Hi. Hi, Tony. Welcome. Henri, welcome.
Hey, Brenda, I'm driving, so as soon as I get to a stationary location, I'll turn on my video. Samin
Wonderful.
here.
Samin, I recognized your voice. Thank you. So glad to have you with us. Sorry about the invitations getting sent out late, and we're still working on trying to make it as seamless as possible, but it's still a little bit rough. So hello, wow, we have a small little group this morning. So nice, because there's something about having small groups that allows us to share even more. Um, my name is Brenda Kiesel, and I'm here in Montreal, Canada. Looks like we're finally going to have some warm weather today, so I'm pretty pleased about that. I am here as a well, what some of us call creator of transformative gatherings. I'm working my organization, which is called The Village, which has yet to be launched, but looks like we're going to do a soft launch in partnership with UkraineNow on a project or a social media initiative, or more likely a social impact campaign that is called Hearts of Ukraine. And what we want to do is spread the word not only of the human stories behind the headlines, so the human stories, humanizing the Ukrainian people, but also sharing this extraordinary story of what you guys are all doing, which is, as simply put as possible, people helping people. And this is what attracted me immediately to UkraineNow. And having these meetings has been, almost indescribably uplifting despite all of the devastation that's happening. Because we can really see how people can help each other. Sorry, just when you're not talking, if you could keep your audio off, that would be great. So I'm seeing some people who haven't been here before. Maybe we can just go around and say a few words about who we are and why we're here, what brings us here. Um, yeah. So who you are, where you are, and what brings you here, and then I'll ask a couple more questions after. So Tom, would you like to start?
Go. I'm getting the hang of this here. Yeah, I'm Tom Desmond. I've been with the group for, I guess, 6 weeks now, Brenda, somewhere around there. My inclination to become involved was the obvious, what we see on TV, and trying to get my head around it and figure out how I can contribute in a constructive way. My background is in finance. I turn companies around for a living. And quite frankly, I find these gatherings therapeutic because it minimizes the rage that accumulates over the course of the day as we all watch the news. So, but for those of you who knew, it's a terrific group, very diverse, but everybody's heart's in the right place. So I think you'll find it very rewarding to participate in these calls.
Thank you, Tom. Now I'm just going to pin you to the wall here to describe yourself a little bit more, not only the work you do. Maybe you know what? A question I haven't asked this directly before is, what do you care about? Maybe give me 3 things that you care a lot about.
Well, I care, the world is broken down pretty simply between the good and the evil. And right now, the evil is making a hard push, and we got to push him back. I'm a straight down the middle guy. I don't overanalyze things. I'm not a chess player. I'm a checkers player. So, right now we're getting assaulted by some group of people that is as evil as we've ever seen, in my opinion. And they're not going to stop at Ukraine. They can't stop at Ukraine, otherwise they'll die on the vine. They're not capable of feeding their own people through internal organic economic growth. They have to expand to feed their oligarchs and their people. I don't want to get too philosophical on you, but this is as bad as it gets. This is not a joke, and no one thinks it's a joke, particularly those of you who are probably listening from Ukraine. But even from my comfortable home in Boston, it's we're all at risk here. This is very serious business.
Thanks, Tom.
I'm a straight down the middle. I'm a straight down the middle guy, Brenda. You know me, right? So it's.
I can't even tell you how much I'm enjoying getting to know you, Tom. And I thank you because you seem to me a combination of, practical, efficient, get the job done, make things happen, but also soulfulness and caring that drives you. And I can't, we're blessed to have you with us. Thank
I'm
you.
blessed to be part of this.
And I think that you underline, while you also, definitely recognize the kind of doom and gloom that's going on, there's, just an undercurrent of hope and care that drives so many of us. And that, I think, is something that we need to hold on to each other, and focus as much as possible on building something better than what is. And again, that's what I see UkraineNow doing so beautifully.
Well, my last comment is I live my life through movies. I've been my whole life has been an education through movies, and the famous line, failure is not an option here.
Sounds great. Thank you. Henri.
My name is Henri Girard. Um, I'm an electronic engineer. So I got involved in this group because I offered to house some Ukrainians that are coming to Canada. So I'm located in Canada, in a suburb of Montreal, Canada, a remote suburb called Bromont, Quebec. What can I say? So I've got some space in this house here that I can spare for some of the many Ukrainians that have applied for the visas for these so-called emergency travel authorization visas by the Canadian government. Apparently there's 160,000 that are going to be coming to Canada. So let's see, what else can I say? So the reason I care, I guess I'm really worried about the escalation of things over there. So I guess I'm worried about, in general, that I see the conflict. I understand the conflict needs to be somehow resolved, and it's just getting worse every week. It seems that there's many countries that are helping the Ukrainians, which is their army. That's the right thing, I guess. But it just keeps escalating. So that's why I care. It might be of interest. There's one lady, just a neighbor. I found there's an organization or a website that's called Neighborhood or Your Neighborhood or something like that. And I found one of the neighbors actually has a GoFundMe for Ukrainians that are coming into this area of province of Quebec, Canada. So it might be of interest. I will contact her to see if she can speak for her own, but they GoFundMe campaign and to help the Ukraine. She's a Ukrainian lady herself that arrived just before the war there.
That's great. But if you know the address of the GoFundMe campaign, put it in the chat here. So if
Okay.
anybody wants to share it, that's great.
Let's put it in there. Yes.
Thank you, Henri. I also wonder if you would give me, I didn't ask for this, but if you're new to this group, would you give us 3 words that describe you?
I guess I'm analytical because I'm an engineer by trade. I like to understand the world around me. Like I do a lot of reading every morning of the newspapers of the world, whether it's many newspapers that are available online on websites. The third thing, I guess I'm calm.
That's a great attribute. I find it so interesting. There's been quite a few engineers and IT people, scientists around, and who find it, it's more challenging to describe yourself. I find that really kind of endearing. Thank you, Henri. Shane,
Oh,
welcome.
hi.
Welcome
Yeah,
back.
thank you. Yeah, thank you. I was in Ukraine the last 10 days of March. We were transporting supplies from Poland into Ukraine, into Lviv, and transporting Ukrainian refugees back to shelters in the Warsaw area. I was working with a group, just amazing people. I was working with these young Polish citizens that basically just walked away from their jobs when this brutal invasion started. It's just amazing the work that these people are doing. One of them actually, Peter, actually joined the Ukrainian army, and he's working out of Lviv. And I just rebooked a trip. I'm leaving again on May 5th. To head over, and I'll be meeting up. Peter will be picking me up in Warsaw, and we'll be heading back to Lviv to continue the cause.
Shane, what drives you to do this?
Like a couple other people have mentioned, watching the news, maybe it's a bad thing to watch too much TV. I don't know, but when all this had started, I just had a very bad feeling in February when all the talk was leading up to the invasion. And I served in the military. I served 8 years in the Navy, and deployed 3 times back in the 80s during the Cold War period. And I don't know if that's part of what drove me to this, but just deep inside, monetary donations weren't enough for me. I had to be there. I knew I had to be there hands-on to help. And after my first trip, I knew immediately before I flew back to the States that I was going to go back. I mean, there was never a doubt I was going to go back. It was just a matter of when. And so I booked my trip, and I'll be going back May 5th to the 14th.
Thanks for all you do, Shane. How would you describe yourselves in 3 words?
Caring, energetic, and right now sad. Sad but hopeful.
Thank you. So good to hear from you. Did you see, I think, Asher, you sent him a note? Yes? Okay. There's a note for you.
Yeah, I'm looking at heading into Lviv tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Good. Yeah, thanks for everything you're doing. And yeah, I'll be there May 5th in Warsaw.
We'll be around then.
Okay. All right.
We
And I
can
think
chat.
I think I wrote your email down somewhere, but I'll look in the notes, and I'll pick it up.
Excellent. Tony, welcome.
Welcome. Tony Casper. Live in the Bay Area, which would be the San Francisco area. And then I work out here in Wisconsin where I'm at right now. So lived in Europe for 21 years, especially during the Cold War. I was there when Reagan brought in the ICBMs. I speak German fluently. Attended the University of Munich. So everything that's happening over there is kind of in my realm of, that's like I said, I've lived over there for a long time. So I was curious to find out what I can do to help out. But other than that, I'm in supply chain and distribution, logistics. So whatever I can do, I'm here to volunteer. I volunteer for the USO. I'm also with the Coast Guard, and I'm a caring, curious individual.
Well done. Thank you, Tony. Thank you so much. Great to have you with us. Usher, so good to see you again.
Yeah, well, we missed the last one. It's been a bit busy. How are you going?
Good. Tell us. Tell us what's
So
going
we've
on.
kind of, I'm still teamed up with Kat, who's I met through one of these calls. We arrived in Warsaw the same day, and next day was this call, and an hour later, me, her, three other people connected, and was with some of them for a while. And then me and Kat have kind of been held up together. We've got a similar background in events, which isn't particularly pertinent to this, but it makes us working together quite well, working on our own things. I'm trying to build an infrastructure between the different border crossings to share information more, putting language resources out there just for the basics of people handing out supplies and stuff, just basic little cheat sheets, which I've done through some of the Ukrainian communities. So I haven't been doing the translating. So somebody else is making sure that that's all correct. I'm just kind of getting it to the people that need to. And we've been alternating between a day on the computer, fundraising, networking, things like that. And then the next day spending it at one of the borders. And it's one of the smaller border crossings. Buses are coming across. We were there yesterday, it was a bit quieter, but Friday and Wednesday, we probably had maybe 1,200 odd people come through in the time that we were there. And there's only two organizations working, PAH, and World Central Kitchen. And so there's very few volunteers because it has to be with those organizations, and PAH has allowed us in. And one person there makes a much bigger difference, even though the volume's smaller than some of the bigger border crossings. And we had people come from Bucha and Mariupol, and just people finally, they're getting their passports stamped and getting into Poland. And there's just kind of that moment of reprieve. We're giving them food and drink, no alcohol, but kind of trying to make them feel at home as much as possible, like doing supply runs to kind of help supply the actual border crossing because they're limited in their resources. And me and Kat have a bit more at hand. And one of the things they were asking for the other day was just bubbles, like bubbles for the kids sort of thing. And getting the kids to just dance and forget what's going on, letting the mums relax for a minute and sit down. And there's a lot of hugs, a lot of crying, a lot of emotional stuff. And it's kind of hard, slow work, but it's rewarding. And it's when you're sitting behind a computer, everything is a bit distant sometimes. And having that every second day being there in person, we've found that nice balance of feeling like we're achieving something, both micro and macro at the same time. And both of them keep each other in check a bit. And I'm looking at heading over to Lviv tomorrow is the idea. We've got some contacts there and just trying to get a better feel for what they need now, because it's changing ever so frequently what's happening, where people are coming from. The refugees seem to be slowing down a bit, and a lot of people were going back because it was Ukrainian Easter this weekend. So a lot of people were actually heading back from Poland, who then will probably, hopefully, be coming back again. It's a very weird situation, but you can't judge them for doing their thing.
Wow. Thanks, Asher. That's a great summary. And so we want to, if I understand correctly, we want to keep on the lookout for more people in Poland who maybe can join you and Kat and help out at this smaller border.
Yeah, I've already sent, I think, 3 volunteers, people that have been asking, where can I help? And I'm like, this is where you can make more of a difference. The other border has a lot more people, but a lot more people helping, whereas 1 or 2 extra people per shift there makes a world of difference. Like even just today, we went and bought 1,000 paper cups for tea and coffee, because nearly everybody's getting tea and coffee. Some of the kids are getting coffee a bit too young, but you just run through it just constantly from these 50-liter tubs. And okay, we need to put a new coffee on. And so it just keeps going and going. And all the coffee cups we could find near the border were crazy expensive, like, 10 cents each. Whereas today we got 1,000 for like 3 or 4 cents each. And just logistically, if you have access to a bigger city, and there's a few things that come through like that.
Fantastic. Now I want to ask you something more personal. How is that all feeling for you? How is this extraordinary experience landing?
It's probably the hardest thing I've ever done, physically, emotionally, mentally, but also the most rewarding. And I'm just trying to remember to take breaks here and there to breathe and not lose my mind, because if I can't look after myself, and a lot of volunteers, we're all reminding each other nonstop, like, look after yourself first, then you can look after others. Because if you lose it, and I'm here for the long term, not just for a week or 2, and so I've got to remember, like, at least once a week, take half a day. Me and Kat went and watched the football on Saturday, because there was 2 opposing teams. We both went for them. And I won't gloat about us winning, but we took half a day and just relaxed, had a beer, and before getting back to work at night. And that's the important part of this whole thing, is keeping your sanity, because it is so messed up what's going on. And it's very easy for it to get to you and bring you down, but we won't let that happen.
Sending lots of love to you guys. Also, just a thought, you're a DJ, right? Music.
Yeah, that's,
Can you
there's music.
can you bring music to the border? Is that
we,
possible?
we, on Wednesday we didn't. On Friday we discussed it for about an hour in the car and decided that 80s rock, hairband rock, was the way to go, because it's not going to offend anyone. And we ended up hitting some village people, not hitting with the car, hitting musically the village people, which has now become our kind of semi-official theme song. And that's getting played a lot. And the kids were dancing along. And 80s hairband rock, there isn't anything too offensive. It's upbeat enough without being too deep and meaningful, and that seemed to go down all right. So we brought music to the border already. It's definitely, it makes it a lot easier when you're on your feet for 8 hours doing the same thing again and again. But it's kind of easy, and all of a sudden it's 1 o'clock in the morning and you've got a 2-hour drive home. The time flies.
Fabulous. That sounds amazing. Do you guys have video of that?
It's hard a bit on the border. Technically, we're in no man's land, so you're not allowed photos and videos. We do have some videos and photos, but we have to be very sensitive, especially with children involved, not showing children's faces and things like that, and trying to be sensitive with the people there. A lot of people are coming up and asking us for photos. I've got a few people's Instagram where we've sent photos back and forth. But if you want, send me an email. Between me and Kat, we've got a bunch of stuff, but there is very much a time and place, and getting the photos and videos is not the priority.
Absolutely, I understand. So I'm just going to send you my email address, if you wouldn't mind, so I can have yours. If you shooting me off one. Thank you. I'm taking advantage of this small meeting to do these personal things. Thanks, Asher. Amazing as always to have you with us. Samin, welcome back.
Hey, Brenda. It's great to be here. And I just, every time someone comes here and tells about their stories, it's a great reminder to remember that there are so many good people out there still in the world. Sometimes you lose hope. You think that the whole world is doom and gloom. But souls like these people, when we all talk about this stuff, it's, how can I say? It gives hope. It gives hope that you're not alone. If you're pushing, you're not pushing alone. So there is a lot of people pushing hard and going beyond their limitations to help. And so From our side, we have been in touch now with 5 companies in Ukraine. We are very close to finalizing it with ATB and ANC. These are really large companies. Once we get them up and running, the beauty of it is going to be that any one of us here can buy a gift card for a grocery store for anyone in Ukraine. And they can walk into the grocery store and buy the groceries without even sending any money across the border. It's literally buying them the gift cards. I really, really cannot wait to see that happen. It will be an amazing sight to see. I ask you for prayers that it will go through. And I know prayers alone doesn't change anything. It's all about doing. That's for me. That's the updates I have today.
Samim, maybe you could tell us just a little bit about you.
I don't know. I always say I'm not important. What we do is important. What should I say about me? I'm in Toronto. I have a family. I have 2 children, a 9-year-old and actually 10-year-old and a 5-year-old, Aiden and Leo. I've been married for 18 years now, and we have a common vision in my family. We all believe that doing good is good, and that's as simple as it is. And they're all behind me for this. We have started this company 4 years ago, and it was very hard to pick it up, to get it to come to where it is today. But with the support and investments of a lot of people who came on board and helped, we managed to pull it off. My background is in information technology, but I really worked for a bank, for American Express for 12 years. And that gave me how can I say, an unfiltered view of the financial systems. And when you're inside and you see how things work, it's, I don't want to be political about it, but it's almost as if you were in the mafia and you come out and you know what's going on inside. And that's what turned me off completely. And I had to come out and build something completely the opposite. And it was something that everybody says is impossible to do, to go against the Visas and MasterCards, but we're not fighting against them. We are fighting about the greed. So we declared war on greed and we started to build this. And my childhood is a different story, but that's generally a story about my life.
Just if you could tell us just very simply what Centigram is, because some people here don't know.
Yeah, Centigram is, we call it the gifting beyond borders. So the idea is that if I want to send a gift to someone across the country, it's very impossible. I mean, very difficult. It is possible, but it's very difficult. And there's a lot of cost. Money transfer is very expensive and is dependent on banks. But if I want to send a gift card to someone across the world, that shouldn't be limited or controlled by the banks. There shouldn't be a financial system in the middle trying to take a chunk out of it. It should be between myself, the person who's receiving it, and the business who's going to be conducting that transaction for us. Could be a grocery, could be a bakery, could be a pharmacy. And that's the whole model around Centigram, that you should be able to conduct this two-way transaction with the middle party to be the business. And we make money from the business. So if the business receives that transaction, they will give us a percentage from that. So the customer doesn't pay, the sender doesn't pay. It's really the business because we brought them some value. Now, that model can be implemented in any country, and especially in countries that are in difficult situations like now Ukraine. Hopefully we can build it, and that will prove the concept that it is possible to do it without needing the people to have bank accounts transferring money. We can transfer goods just by transferring gift cards or digital gift cards. That's it.
Beautiful. What a gift to the world, really, Centigram is. Thank you. Thank you for everything, Samim.
Thank you, Brenda. Thank you.
Victoria, hello. Are you going to join us?
Hi, everyone. I'm not turning my camera off because I have about 10 tabs and 2 phones running right now. So, and actually 3 browser windows. So,
tomorrow
I
9 and a 1:30. What would you be taking?
okay. So, I don't check in here very often. But thank you to everyone who's working so hard. I've had a lot of people come and help me with some projects I'm moving from these calls. So that's really exciting. In a general sense, I wanted to talk about some messaging that maybe Ukraine Now leadership could work on, because I'm hearing perception of the organization from people on the ground, and I want to be sure that there's a lot of clarity on what Ukraine Now is working on, because there's not a lot of clarity. And obviously everyone here on this call has so much initiative and heart to work. And honestly, I've had some people come to me to work on my projects because I have projects that are moving. I have a lot of movement on my side, and I'm able to streamline people and put them together on projects. So I want us to all be able to work together, and for Ukraine Now to grow and use the volunteer energy that they have. Right now, in the general NGO sense, there is a lot of duplication of effort. People are siloed, delivery channels are siloed, contacts are siloed, and you have the additional layer of security concerns. So people are less likely to share contacts and create teams across organizations. So I spend a lot of time establishing trust and putting people together that can provide value. And I would like to see initiatives that are happening on Ukraine Now get more publicity. For instance, the ambulance effort. In the last 2 weeks, there's been press of United Arab Emirates, Denmark, and Germany sending many ambulances into the country. And I'm not saying that the effort to purchase this ambulance is incorrect. I'm just saying that the public perception and the drive to donate for ambulances might be affected by these other vehicles coming in, and people don't understand this web. They don't understand why, if 100 ambulances came into Ukraine, that they need to buy another one.
Okay, thank you, Victoria, for all your thoughts and amazing work. I wonder maybe if you should speak to somebody directly at Ukraine Now. I don't know if Arthur or somebody maybe in the media, so you can talk about your concerns.
Yeah, Arturo has actually been in my email, but of course he's the busiest person on the planet right now.
Right.
He's expressed interest to connect, and I've not been bugging him, obviously due to schedule concerns. But I'd really just like to help streamline perception on that. Because of this, I actually have someone that came to me for help because they're running an evac team out of Dnipro. And the problem we're having is now there is so little resources in the East in terms of trains, buses, and cars that there actually are a ton of refugees in the East, but they can't get out. They can't get to the border. And this person reached out to Ukraine Now for help when it was safe to get out, and they didn't get a response. And obviously a lot of things fall through the cracks when it's an overwhelming situation. But her clear ask is she needs help with evac. She has people sleeping 4 hours a day that are running people all the time. So these needs are out there, and I'm not running evac. I'm running local manufacturing. But because I have movement, people come to me because they see me as being effective, and I need evac teams to work with me.
Okay. So again, can you mention that to Arthur, maybe send him another email and ask him if there's somebody else that can help you, if not him. And I will mention it to him as well.
Okay, I will definitely reach out.
Great. Thank you so much, Victoria. Thank you for being here and for all that you do. Elena, hello.
Hi. Actually, interestingly enough, Victoria was just talking about me. I was the person who reached out to her. So my name is Alina. I'm in Canada, Ottawa, and I'm sort of in between Ottawa and Toronto. So who we are is a group of volunteers who all have full-time jobs, but we kind of on the second day of war got together and decided we have to do something about what's happening. And the way it started, we were sort of trying to evacuate our own families, friends, and friends of friends and their families. And then, the word kind of spread, and people started reaching out, and we got together with a bunch of, NGOs, smaller NGOs in Romania and Poland and Ukraine, and started trying to help people. We're connecting the women and children with an NGO here in Canada, trying to help them, prevent human trafficking and things like that. But it's sort of all over the place. Like, we're not very organized. We have one channel on Discord where we get together and try to solve things. And because we have a lot of connection to Ukraine and have relatives there, they sort of come to us with their needs as well. So right now, one of the most affected regions is Dnipro and Zaporozhye, because they're accepting all the refugees from Mariupol and all the hardest hit zones, and they're trying to accommodate them or trying to put them on buses to Europe. So right now, like, we're realizing that we don't have the right resources. Like, we started small and we're continuing small, but we're hearing about like 800 people coming from Mariupol in one day, and there's just nowhere to put them. And we're hearing from our friends from Dnipro hospital, where they're just like conducting surgeries on chairs, and there's just no basic medical supplies. And there are issues like corruption, and things get stolen along the way. We have people sending stuff to Ukraine, and half of it disappears along the way. So there's that as well. There's not enough anti-corruption measures, I guess, from NGOs who are sending stuff. There's also, there are security concerns where probably due to security, stuff disappears. And then people in Ukraine report on seeing stuff like humanitarian aid items being sold in the stores there. So, I mean, there's just endless issues there. One of the major items we're looking at is human trafficking, because early on we started hearing reports about, women and children getting picked up by like people who appear to be volunteers at the borders, and then nobody would ever hear from them again. So we try to prevent that. And for organizations here in Canada, I mean, Canada is trying to do a pretty good job creating programs to assist Ukrainians coming here. But we find that first, there's a language barrier, because a lot of stuff they publish is in English, and if they try to accommodate language, it's usually in Ukrainian, whereas most of the people fleeing right now are from Donbas region and Kherson and Mariupol, where majority of them are Russian speakers, actually. So that's one concern. And we had people who were like a week before this one, we picked up a girl just by chance outside of the airport in Toronto, who just came out, and she somehow missed the Red Cross tent, and she was just outside, found the man on Facebook who offered to pick her up. And that's just scary, because you see a 21-year-old who's getting picked up by a man who she'd never met before. And thankfully, a man was a decent person who just, was very responsive and did provide her an accommodation for 2 nights and help her out. But it could have gone completely wrong way, and it could have been like a very severe case of human trafficking. She could have been, ended up somewhere else. So yeah, these are the issues we're dealing with. So anybody with an ability to, or contacts in, organizations that prevent human trafficking, or any people who are able to provide like medical supplies to the regions, that would be helpful. And on evacuation efforts, Kherson, we find that's the most affected location so far, because there's just nothing there. There's no evacuation whatsoever happening. The first effort to establish official evacuation buses in the past 2 days wasn't fruitful. So people are still there, and we tried. We did get a few families out, but it was like 3 different cars going from one village to another, and 4 days until the nearest city. So it was just like terrifying, and we weren't sure until last moment if they would make it. So yeah, anything to do with Kherson, and anybody able to provide any buses there or any efforts would be helpful, or anybody who's aware of any official efforts to evacuate people from there, that would be very helpful as well.
Thank you, Elena. Thank you for everything that you're doing. How are you, on a personal note, how are you holding up?
Well, I just have to say, like, I've been doing this since day 2, and I have a full-time job. I have kids, and I have been sleeping maybe 5 hours a day. But at the same time, I try to stop, and it's very hard to stop, because you just know that you could help, and sometimes people just don't have any help. I ask people why, where's Red Cross, where all the big orgs we're donating to, but unfortunately, I guess there's just not enough help out there. So it's just all help they can get. And I think it really helps on a personal level when you're busy with concrete tasks. So all of us, when we're trying to help, I think it helps us as well psychologically, because otherwise, reading the news and just watching it, I think would be very hard.
Yes, and thank you for joining us, Elena. And please, I encourage you to join us again, because oftentimes these meetings, while we're talking about the worst, possible situations, we're also seeing a lot of amazing people doing incredible things like yourself. Thank you. Bella Mika. Bella, are you there? Okay, we'll move on, and when you come back, we'd be happy to meet you. Kelly Kaufman. Hello, would you like to say hello? Tell us a little bit about yourself. Kelly, are you there?
Yeah, hello. Can you hear me?
Yes. Is it possible to put on your video? If you can't, it's understandable, but if you can, it would be great.
Yeah, here. Okay. I don't know, it's just dark. Hi, I'm Kelly. I've been on a couple of these calls, but not for a while. I'm in Krakow right now. I have been for about 5 weeks. I don't know, I spend my mornings, early afternoons volunteering in a few different places here. And then I spend the rest of the day sort of writing stories, going about, I don't know, different things, learning Ukrainian, bonding with some families that I meet here, networking a lot. It's my daily activities.
And what brought you there? You're not, where are you from?
I'm from the US, but I have spent the last 4 years teaching English in Madrid, in Spain. So when the war started, it just felt right. I mean, already unsatisfied with where I was and that teaching job. So I felt compelled, like, I mean, everybody here, you know, that has their own story, their own reason, but it all boils down to wanting to help, feeling moved by the things we see and the things we hear. And then for those who've witnessed or been here firsthand, you know, along the borders of Ukraine or like in the countries dealing with a lot of refugees or in Ukraine, you know, sort of the things you do, it kind of keeps you motivated and quite an experience.
Kelly, well, thank you so much for everything you do. It's pretty amazing just to see like the incredible array of people who are in Poland right now and who are helping. And it's a beautiful thing. And we really want to highlight, spotlight that these actions in the hopes that it will inspire more and more people to realize that we can do this, we can help each other, not just ourselves. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Alex, Привіт. Привіt? Did I
Yes,
say?
hello. Nice to be here again. Once again, I thought I'll have courses. Now I don't have courses because they were canceled. So I'm here again, once again. Hello, everybody. I see a lot of people who I'm not familiar with. So I think it will be useful to share my email after I tell you what I do. So I'm briefly about me. I am 16. I'm from Ukraine, from Kiev. What I do is design, also programming, development of automation bots, and also 3D art. Basically, I have already connected with a few people who needed like design for something really simple, like something needed like a poster in refugee center, something like that. So if you need that, I know that many volunteers, they need something so simple like this, but it is sometimes hard to find people who can do that. So yeah, I can do that, and also I can do translation as well. This is how I can be useful in here. I'm gonna leave my email after I talk so that you can reach out to me. Yeah, basically this is, yeah, I think this is everything. Let me put my email in there.
Thank you, Alex. And maybe you can tell people where you are, what your experience is, and how you've been with this experience.
Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, yeah.
Alex, I don't know if you can hear me, but you're frozen. Can everybody hear
Had
him?
to flee to Poland. Oh,
Sorry, could you
yeah.
start again? Because you were frozen.
Yeah, I got it. So because I was in Kiev, I had to flee on the second day to Lviv, which is closer to Polish border, from where I could flee after a few weeks to Poland. And now I'm staying in Warsaw, pretty much. Yeah.
So glad you and your family are safe. And so amazed at
Actually, not everybody. We split because not everybody has a permission to cross the border, pretty much. So we had to split. Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that. I hope that gets resolved. It's so wonderful to have you with us, Alex. Thank you, and for everything you do. Bella, you're muted. You're deaf? Oh. UNR. I actually. Okay, so can you type? Are you able to type? You can't type. Okay. TMUR. UMTR. Oh, so sorry. I wish I could more easily read your sign language. Okay, well, listen, when you can communicate, we are here. 5 minutes. Okay. Okay, excellent. Great. Barry.
Hello.
Hi. Welcome.
Hi. Hi. Thank you. I'll be very brief. Today is my first meeting. When the war first started, and obviously a lot of people felt compelled to jump in and do stuff. And but there was obviously a lot of security issues in identifying people, and so I was able to find this group, but it took me a bit to get onboarded. Obviously, people are just full on into doing stuff, so onboarding is challenging. I fully understand that. So this is my first meeting today, and wow, like it's just very, very compelling, and to hear these stories of what people are doing and what people are experiencing. So yeah, I've just, I was in a situation when the war started where I felt I did have lots of time on my hands, and I just want to do something. And now my situation's changed, but I don't have as much time, but I have some time, and I have some, abilities, and so I just want to put that out there. And I've been connecting with some people through the chat here during the meeting, and maybe, get involved with fundraising team or something like that. I don't see myself going to Eastern Europe at this point. I thought I could, earlier, but that's not possible for me now. And I just don't want to take up too much time, but I will put my email in the chat if people have like just sort of general needs that they need some assistance with. I do have some time. I'm in Canada. I have a good internet connection, and I'll just leave it at that.
It's so, I appreciate your humility, but you're here and you're part of this and you want to help. And it's so, I think we really all appreciate hearing a little bit about each other. Maybe you could describe yourself, maybe in 3 words, or give us a
Yeah.
sense of who you are.
Concerned. And hopeful. I've heard that. So those two are diametrically somewhat opposed, but I guess I'm caring, just for humanity through this awful thing that we're going through right now.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Barry. Great to have you with us. I hope you join us again.
Yeah, I will for sure. Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the things that some of the groups that I've talked about with some of the groups are stories of acts of kindness. We only have a couple more minutes to go, but I invite you guys to contemplate acts of kindness, moments of beauty, and stories of love, because that, in my humble opinion, is the force that we need to build on. I've read this quote a number of times it was a quote in the New York Times. Somebody had written, an anonymous person had written in response to an article, and she wrote, "Can kindness become a provocative force that motivates people to communal action?" I really haven't stopped thinking about that, and especially being a part of this group and seeing so many people help in so many ways. And I think, yes, indeed, this is a force that we can cultivate. and the work that you guys are doing with Ukraine Now and the whole idea of Ukraine Now and other organizations like it, where people come together to help people, kind of bypassing politics, not expecting everything from our governments, but helping each other and helping ourselves, is such a beautiful thing. So I would invite you to look around and keep your eyes and your heart open to these acts of kindness, to these moments of beauty and stories of love, and bring them to us, because next time I'm going to ask for some stories. Bella, great, you're back. Okay, hang on. So you're spelling it out. I can actually read you. So I'm just going to call out the letters, all right? U, T, no. No, what is this? Shoot. I'm sorry, it's been a long time since I've spoken in sign language. No. U, N, M, U, R, R. No. Okay. T. Old school. T. Is anybody following here what she's trying to say? This is like pretty amazing. I'm so sorry, Bella. I don't think I can understand. This is when we need Kat. She can speak. Can you pull over and write something? Yes, okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to understand too, but I just realized that Ukrainian Sign Language and English Sign Language are completely different.
Okay, she's speaking in Ukrainian. Okay, that's
No,
why.
no, she's speaking in English, but I know
U,
Ukrainian.
U, N, M, U, T. Is that A? You, yourself. You are U-N-M-U. What does that mean? U-N-M-U-T. Can anybody figure that out? Oh God, this is. Oh, Bella, I'm so sorry.
Maybe
Anybody
Bella
else?
can send it later to you in an email or something, and then we share it to the next meeting.
Unmute me! Unmute me!
Oh, she tried to say unmute me.
Unmute you!
Hello?
Oh
Hello?
shit! Oh my God! Okay. Oops. Okay, sorry, I can't. Oh, there we go.
Hello?
Yes! UNMUT. I thought it was an acronym. I was like trying to figure. I didn't realize.
Unmute me! Oh, so can you hear me?
Yes!
Okay. Listen, I don't understand the format here. You said there's only a few minutes, but listen, I am very involved since day one. I am Ukrainian. I have to be Ukrainian. I have boots on the ground, Mariupol, Odessa, Kiev, Poland, other countries. I went to Tijuana. I have 2 refugees with me. I went to Poland. I'm going back to Warsaw to work some more. But my girl right now, she is going to Kiev with an empty car, and she's going to pick up a grandmother and 2 other people, getting them out of Kiev. So I am a good contact. I mean, if you tell me I need grandma and her dog rescued out of Mariupol, I know a guy. So I'm very good contact. But I have a limited time like everybody else. I sleep like 4 or 5 hours a night. And babysitting, I just become mom of two 23-year-old refugees, and I'm going back and forth, driving them to work and getting them acclimated to America. But I'm very knowledgeable and very good skills at master logistics and everything. And I have a website, lovenoborders.org. Very slow getting to the NGO, whatever. I went to the border of Tijuana. I think UkraineNow is there, no? Is that right?
Yes, yes, they have been
Yes,
there a lot. Yes, but I
right.
believe the
So
whole thing at the border is shut down now.
yes, they shut down now because of the 25th. Biden closed the gates, so now only you can be sponsored. But I went to Tijuana and
Hello, this is Frank.
I rescued these two refugees to come back with me.
Hey, how are you? Yeah. Yeah, you
Sorry about that. Please
Sorry?
continue.
No,
Please continue.
I'm a simple school teacher, 4th grade math. I live in Florida. It is what it is, but I continue every day. Somebody needs something, somebody needs housing, you need whatever. I got computers trying to go somewhere in Poland for kids that need to go to school. I'm at the bank right now. I'm going to PayPal my girl driving to Kiev right now because she's out of money, but I know she's going to buy supplies for whatever is needed. Yesterday, we went to Eastern Orthodox Church. We donated the rest of my suitcases because every week I have somebody, one of my team members going into Poland and doing whatever they need to do. They're in Warsaw, Krakow, Medica, Helm, Kiev, Odessa, you name it. I probably know somebody there. So we are constantly, I'm good at matching. I'm very mathematical mind, and I'm good at matching what the needs and the wants, whatever they are. So just wanted to shout out to that because everybody is helping. Everybody is doing what they can. And, I just switched phones. So that's why I'm like, I don't know how to do this. So, just have a patience with me, I guess. But I'm very involved, and I will continue to be involved. When I return to Warsaw, I will go probably May 27th, and I will stay until the war ends. I don't know when the war is going to end, but I will be with International Rescue Committee because they help the children, and I worked with them before in Guatemala. I've done a lot of missionary trips throughout the years, and I have a heart. I just have a heart for people, but because I'm a school teacher, I really like to help the children, but I'm really helping everybody, really, like grandmas, and even my website is I commissioned a Ukrainian father on the west side to do it for me because I am from Generation X. I don't know technology, obviously, so I have him help me because so my website's probably not good English, but I don't know any Ukrainian. I only speak Italian, but Italian has really helped me actually do a lot of other work that I'm doing with everybody else. So just use me as somebody to do logistics, or if somebody has a need, because really at 3 o'clock in the morning one day I woke up, I went on my computer, and one of my 80 groups I belong to on Facebook said, hey, we need help. We have these two scared 23-year-olds at Tijuana border, and they need help. And I said, oh, I'm going there already. So I went and picked them up, and I set them up in an Airbnb and got some sponsors for their plane tickets. And look, we are in Florida now. We are here. So I got them jobs, and slowly they will be independent, because then I will continue to do this before I leave on the 27th of May to return. So please, thank you for having me in the group. And if I can do anything while my eyes are open, then I'll be glad to do it, because I continue to do fundraising and really just helping. And I understand I've been there, done that, not with war, but with missionary and third world countries, but nothing compares to this, nothing, so it's very important for everybody. Like I said, I'm new to the group. It's very important for everybody to do self-care, because you don't take care of yourself, you cannot take care of somebody else. So for me, I have a strong faith, and that's what carries me, so I'm here. If you need something, I'm on Facebook, I'm on what is that called, the website. I was on all these other secret little chats and stuff, but I changed phones and I don't know how to do it. So like a telegraph signal, I got rid of that. I got to get back on. And I do have Discord though. So, but I lost all my contacts in Discord, and I'm trying to get them back because I had an old phone and I really need to update. So there you have it. I'm glad I got to talk. So thank you.
Thank you. Bella is your name?
Yeah, Bella Mika. Yes,
Bella Mika, both names. Okay, Bella Mika, what a woman. Wow, you are amazing. The first thing I can think of is maybe to connect with Asher and Kat, because Kat, hi Kat, so great to have you here. I don't know if you heard at the beginning, but Bella Mika has all kinds of people on the ground in and outside of Ukraine and makes things happen. So Bella, Mika, if you could put your email address or tell it to me and we can put it in the chat.
Yeah, let me do that because I have no idea. I've been pressing all these buttons the whole time you try to talk to me, and then it's a mess. It's a mess. My email is LISETTEBARTO.
Hold on. Okay, hold on. Say it again. I'm going to put it in the chat. LISETT.
I couldn't do the T. EVARTON at AOL.com.
Okay, Lisette Barton at AOL.com. Okay.
Yes.
Right.
And I have, yes. It's good for people to, I don't have the website updated, but if they want to know the type of person I am, it's on lovenoborders.org. You heard?
Got it.
Okay. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
so thank you so much. Kat, if you want to say a quick hello, and then Frank, and then we will sign off.
Yeah, hi. I'll keep it super short. Glad to pop in. Sorry, I didn't even see the meeting was happening until Asher flagged me down. So good to see all the regular faces on here and meet some of the new ones. We are still very active at the border. That's where our main focus lies. So right now, Asher and I are, we're going back and forth between supply runs, helping refugees on the ground as they cross the border, fundraising, networking, and then just establishing more supply lines that lead directly into Ukraine with secured supply lines. So I will say, the one thing, if I can throw something out in the universe that if I could find a contact for somebody that's able to donate tourniquets, they're called X5 tourniquets. They're combat tourniquets. They are in desperate need of some. I have a very established supply line that goes directly to the front lines. I know sometimes people are a little bit hesitant about donating because how does it get moved? I'll give just a snapshot of it will be delivered to either southern Germany or to us here in Poland. There will be photo documentation of the product arriving, getting loaded onto Sprinter vans. There's Ukrainian paperwork that's official that comes with that, along with passports of the drivers. They are Ukrainian, and then they go directly to the front lines where the items are needed most. And so right now that's going into the east. So, and then we also do photo documentation once the product arrives as proof that it's been handed off. So really efficient, really tight, but that would be the biggest need. Thanks, Brenda. I'll leave it there.
Thanks, Kat.
I'll throw my email in the chat just in case anybody wants to reach out to me directly.
Shane, I don't know if you were following that. I don't know if you can help in that way. I'm thinking of another organization. I'll shoot you guys off an email.
Shane is talking, but he's on mute. We can hear him.
Oh. Thanks, Samim.
Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, I heard that my half brother is actually a physician assistant in our local hospital, and I'm working with him on getting some needed supplies put together that I can I'll take over, and I'll definitely mention that.
That's excellent. So find out the type of tourniquet. What I found by reaching out to hospitals is they don't actually carry the specific combat tourniquet. However, if you have a cell phone number that you can email me, my email is right there. It's cat@cora.co.com. I do have 2 lists that I can send you of medications and supplies that are most desperately needed. And maybe we can work together to expedite some of those that a hospital would definitely have access to.
Okay, all right. I'll send you off or my cell phone. Is that what you prefer? Is my
Or we can email. Honestly, whatever's easiest for you. I can also email you on WhatsApp or Signal on phone. We're quickest to respond right now. But whatever's easiest for you is good with me.
Okay, thanks, Kat.
Thank you.
Just want to point out here, people, how wonderful and kind we are to each other, and we are total strangers. So bravo for that, because certainly
not anymore.
Not anymore.
Asher and I have been living together for like 2 months now.
You're kidding. I love that. Fabulous. Frank, would you like to say a quick hello, introduce yourself, where you are, why you're here? We can't hear you. Please unmute.
My name is Frank Bear. I live just outside of Philadelphia. I've been working lately with the Ukrainian Educational and Cultural Center on Cedar Road. I'm very aware of their need for the tourniquets. They made the evening news. That's how I got my attention. They got my attention a few weeks ago. They have an amazing operation. They've sent 13,000 boxes plus of material and equipment to Ukraine in the last couple of months. Since the war started, I'm helping them getting some space, setting up a separate nonprofit because they have to separate from the parent organization at the moment, and insurances and all of that. But I've been quite interested for a long time in trying to get on the ground in Ukraine to assist. I am the grandson. My parents are German emigres from the Nazi time. My mother in 30, my father in 34. No, the opposite way. My father in 30, my mother in 34. But they all escaped, but not everybody did. My grandfather, who was a retired country doctor just trying to live out his life, died in the camp in Gurs. So I feel very strongly about never again, but never again, as President Zelensky said, we keep saying never again, but then we just keeping allowing it to happen. And in America right now, we seem to be I know I'm late to the conversation, but we're willing to send money, but not take risk. And I need to make a statement by being willing to take risk. I'm a healthy, capable 75-year-old adult male. I walk a few miles a day, but I've been really wanting to get there and drive. But I just see from one of the texts that they don't need drivers as much as they need vans. So I guess I'm a little bit not needed. Can anybody fill me in and how true that is? Am I really not needed on site if I'm willing to drive into Ukraine and deliver materials?
Yeah,
but I don't have, obviously I don't have a van.
I would change the phrasing a little bit. I would never say you're not needed. Everybody is needed that's able to provide help. However, what Asher and I have discovered, there are a couple of things at play here. So one, unless you have an actual Ukrainian vehicle, you are not allowed to cross the border with any other vehicles. So we have a rental car. We can't get into Ukraine via rental car. So that's one. The other is depending on what area you're trying to go to, and we can take this conversation offline and give you all of the information that you want. We've been studying this.
I have his email.
You have his email. We have seen at the border crossing, we've seen even soldiers come in from other nations that were then not allowed to participate in anything and were turned away and sent back. Why that is, I can go into more detail. Again, we've been networking and studying this and where people are most efficient in Ukraine. What we've found is that you are most helpful in Ukraine, and what they're really looking for right now is medical aid. If you are looking to help volunteer and help with refugees, the best place to do that is actually in Poland. So right along the border or in Warsaw or in Przemysl. We call it P-Town because it's so hard to pronounce. But again, please reach out to us. We can give you all that info. And my goal would be to allow you to be as efficient with your skills as possible.
One thing I'll just add to that is, because I'm looking with somebody else I've connected with, and we're both looking to buy a vehicle, and we've probably decided to go in on it together because it makes more sense. We can get something that can move more people, more supplies. And you can buy a car in Poland,
Sorry, yes.
but there's a delay 2 to 4 weeks, and that's kind of up in the air from when you buy it to when you actually have the papers on it to be able to cross the border. So it's not something you can just buy and go, and there's only one place in Warsaw to register as a foreigner to register the car. Like it's a whole process, which I'm sure anyone who's dealt with this part of the world understands that these things are like that. But it's not an exact arrive, buy a car and off you go. There's so many more things at play, especially when it comes to crossing the border.
And yeah, and one more thing is with supply runs and people, is that now there are laws in place against trafficking. So specifically geared towards that. So it's actually, they've become very strict with who moves what, where, and especially if it comes to, because my first thought was let's help refugees move and get them out of there. But that's gotten quite complicated for good reasons. So again, plenty of information to give you on that. Please feel free to reach out.
Okay, did you publish is an email address? Oh, cat at chowra.co.
And you've got mine already as well. We've been liaising.
Okay, okay. I'm going to send you an email right now so you have mine and we can continue the conversation. Thank you all for being here. I've had a lot of connections through the Ukrainian Center in Jenkintown with people who've come and gone, but I understand how circumspect everyone is right now because you don't know who I am, but I can identify myself pretty well. My grandfather's note is in. It really went to my heart a few years, 2 or 3 years ago when I was in Israel, and I saw him in that domed ceiling in the Holocaust Museum, and it's made it all. I'm 75 years old, and it's made it what I always knew became very real to me, and I cannot not participate. I have to find a way to make a statement in this country that I have to take risk. It's just got to be part of the program. You cannot contribute without risk and be meaningful. I know that might sound arrogant, but I feel very strongly about it. And I value the opportunity to continue this conversation. Thank you so much.
Thank
May
you.
I say one moment?
Please.
To respond to you, sir, I have men and women all over, so everybody is needed. If you want to connect somehow, really, I have the contacts, I have the pathway, I have the safe pathway, I have the risky pathway. So you take my name and number because I can get you connected for whatever you want to do, really, really.
Okay.
I'm Bella Mika.
Hold on a second.
So
B-E-L-L, Bella?
Mika, M-I-K-A.
Yeah.
I'm in the chat.
You look in the chat, she's under Lisette Barton at AOL.com.
Right.
Let me see. I'm not super skilled online.
Me neither.
Oh, wait a minute. Can sign directly. Oh no, I see this text which says this is when we need Kat. She can sign decently. How do I contact? Let's see, Asher. Asher. Okay, so Bella Mika at.
I'm in Facebook, but I
Bella
have
Mika
email
on Facebook. Okay.
So her email is L as in love, I, S as in sunshine, E, T, T, double T.
Lisette.
E.
What's that?
Lizette Barton.
So there's
B-A-R.
no E after the second T.
Yes, there is an
Yes,
E.
there is.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Barton
At AOL.com.
Ah, you and me, the last two people on AOL.
Yes. That's a
I
gray
am
hair.
Frank. You'll see an email from Frank Bear himself. That's
Okay,
me.
thank you so much.
Thank you so much, all of you. This is great stuff for me, and I've been at it for quite a while. I've had a lot of unpromising things. And Kat at Cura, I'll copy you both.
We've
Thank you
got some
so much.
we've got some real sort of warriors here that just
Yeah, you got on the ground people, and believe me, I can do lots of things to identify myself. Besides looking in the mirror and saying, "Yeah, that's me."
No
thank you
worries,
so.
Frank. You can speak with Kat and Asher after this.
Thank you.
And so I will wrap up this meeting. This has been a fun and unusual meeting today. You guys fill my heart. I respect you. I love you. I look forward to hopefully seeing you again Wednesday at 8 a.m. Pacific time. We meet Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays at the same time. And you'll get to meet all kinds of others and you reconnect. So have a good couple of days. Stay safe. And thank you for everything that you're doing.
Bye-bye.
See you soon. Bye-bye.